What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, and today we're going to be showing you how to install the cylinder on this Raptor 660. We're just doing the piston, the cylinder, getting everything torqued down. We've got some work to do. We've got both sides, we're waiting on some parts. So on top of that, we had the frame powder coated, and I just got that stuff back, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's going to match up with the side cases and everything really well. It's super clean right now. So excited. We've got a lot to do yet on this build, but we're getting down to the wire where we're going to be able to start putting together some good stuff, and it's going to start taking shape. The color scheme is going to start coming. The color scheme is going to start coming out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a little bit of the cylinder to clean up, and then we're going to go ahead and get that done. All right, so getting ready to install the piston here. All right, so this is an aftermarket piston from Waseco, and you can see that it has the notch on the back, and then we have this arrow. This arrow points toward the exhaust. On the stock pistons, sometimes you'll see, or even on some aftermarket pistons, you'll see the words EX for exhaust stamped on there. So we have the cylinder facing us, so the exhaust is coming out of the front at this point, pointing towards us. And this little notch you want to go towards the back as such. So we have the engine sitting facing us, so the exhaust would be coming out the front. And then you have 3 rings on the piston. So your top ring, your middle ring, and then your bottom ring. And the bottom one is your oil ring, which it has, you can see the wave in there, and then it has 2 rings on either side of that. The top ring on here, you want, and this is looking at the piston, so the rings have gaps, and this is a Yamaha recommended layout. So the top ring you want on this blue mark, a little to the left of this hash mark. The second ring you want on this mark, which is a little to the right of your exhaust arrow. And then the top oil ring, which is on the side here, the top oil ring you want a little to the left, and then this bottom oil ring you want a little to the right on the top. So top ring, second ring, top oil ring, and bottom oil ring. That's where the ring gaps should be. And then we're going to go ahead and put the piston onto the cylinder and see how it looks. The piston's installed, and you can see that the wrist, what they call the wrist pin, I'm pushing out on it there, just slides right in there. In there you have 2 clips, 2 of these clips. And these can be a little bit of a pain to get in sometimes, but you see you have a notch. These clips hold the wrist pin in, and you don't want to put the gap at the notch. So you want to, I usually just go opposite of the notch, and you got to press them together to get them in there. There's a groove on the inside on each side where these clips go. So you just put them in the groove and compress it until it snaps into place. So we got the pins installed. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but you can see where the gap was. There's now a ring in there. So next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slide the cylinder down over the piston. And the hard part is getting these rings compressed so that you can slide the cylinder. They make tools for it. I don't have one. It's possible to do it with your hands. The biggest thing is just to try to make sure that the rings stay where they're supposed to be. And another thing I like to do is I like to dribble a little bit of oil down into the cylinder. That way it's not bare metal and so on. So we got the dowel pins in there. You got 2 dowel pins, one here and then one over here. We got our gasket, and this gasket only goes on one way. All right, so we got the cylinder on there. These bolts, the 4 head bolts, get torqued to 31 foot-pounds, and the 2 bolts on the side, which have a hex head in them, got the piston in. It works properly. Got everything oiled up a little bit. So that's it for this. Thanks for watching this episode, and we will see you next week on the next episode. I'm not sure which part that we're going to be doing because we're waiting on some parts. So it's coming together, and we really appreciate you watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and share our videos, and we'll see you next week.